Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of mprugs.com. My name is Mike. I'm the moderator in the series of videos that is all about handmade Persian rugs and handmade carpets from around the world. I welcome you to our channel and hope you and your family are doing well. In this video, I want to just show you a little bit of a Persian rug history. This is kind of like an evolution of a rug design. It is one of the most classic designs that has been around for literally many centuries. This is a very, very classic design. It's known as a HERATI. And what is absolutely beautiful about the design is that actually, if when you look at the details, some of it has remained the same literally over centuries. For those of you that are into Persian rugs, that if you look at if you look at pictures, you go to museums, or if you go online nowadays, you can see pictures of very old carpets. And they tend to be from not just the Persian region, but also, for example, when you venture out, when you go north to the Caucasus regions, when you go south, you will see that there is a type of design that seems to stand out, that is very common. And that is a design that you see in this very old Bidjar. This is the oldest Bidjar that we have. And that is also then found in some of the newer pieces. And I literally took 3 different new rugs to show you how the old has been transformed, not just into new rugs, but into 3 different types of Persian rugs with the design that is generally referred to as a HERATI design. And when I get behind the camera, as I always do, when I give you the close-ups, you can actually see what I mean when I say the HERATI design. You can also see it in the picture right here. This is a classic design. Now, in the case of the Persian rugs, the design has evolved a little bit. Like I said, you have the old Bidjar that has the HERATI design in it. And then, as I'm going to be showing you, some of the regions within the Persian rug weaving culture have taken that HERATI design and they have adjusted it. They have made slight changes to it. And so, for example, we have a Tabriz rug in the far right. You have in the center here, you have a Bidjar. And right next to me is a Moud rug. Moud, Bidjar, Tabriz. All 3 of them, when you notice up close, you are going to see this HERATI design, which again, it actually comes from the tribal regions and the people that are closest associated with the HERATI design. We have always been crediting the Kurdish people. The Kurdish people who, and again, this goes back, you'll notice that when you look at the history of the Kurdish people, you look at regions that modern day Syria, Iraq, Iran, but you will also notice that the Kurdish people, they are what I personally refer to as the wandering type. The Kurdish people, from what I have learned, from what I have seen, and what I loved about them is that they were kind of like explorers. They were not the kind of people that just want to sit down in one place, or as we like to say back home, like to sit around the fire. These are people, they were the wandering type. And as they spread throughout the Middle East and as far north as the Caucasus, they obviously took their culture and a lot of it with them. And one of the things that the Kurdish people are known for are the Bidjar rugs. When you look at a Bidjar rug, you are basically looking at what I call Kurdish culture. And not just like we see in the center here, we have the antique piece. But the Kurdish people also spread throughout modern day Iran. And so what you see is, for example, when you talk about the Tabriz rugs, the one on the far, you'll see that it has a lot of the Kurdish influence. We have the Bidjar rug here. We have the same thing with the Moud. And so you can see how there's almost been like an evolution. There is generations. But it all goes back, in this case right here, to the old HERATI design. And so I wanted to show you how in the Persian rug culture, how it sometimes, how the people make changes as they, obviously generations, you have some slight changes, but if you look closely enough, you will notice there's a lot of similarities between them. So, for example, like I said, we have the 3 different types of Persian rugs. The people that are generally into the Tabriz rugs, they may not necessarily be looking at a Bidjar or a Moud. But the reason that we can literally offer them to our clients oftentimes is because they share a lot of similarities. They are made sometimes in different types of weave. You have Persian knots, you have a triple knotted, the Bidjar rugs, which are known like the steel rugs. I mean, these are indestructible. I have them in my own home. I love the Bidjars. They're a classic, warm type of rugs. The Tabriz, well, the Tabriz are some of the best known types, especially the higher quality, like the ones that we have in the back there. You'll see that very popular. But for people that are into Persian rugs, you are going to appreciate the fact that even though you're looking at 3 different types of rugs, they all share the same ancestor. And so, like I said, in this video, I wanted to not only show you the HERATI design, but I wanted to really show you different examples of how the design, from where it came from. And like I said, to me, as far as I'm personally concerned, the credit goes to the Kurdish people who blessed us with this beautiful, and it's almost antique design that you nowadays also find in the newer rugs. So as I've always done, I'm going to get behind the camera now. I'm going to show you some of the features of the antique HERATI design, and then I'm also going to be able to obviously zoom in and give you some of the close-ups of the various rugs that you see here on the board. And then, as always, I'm going to come back and give you guys my final goodbyes. As always, if you're new to our channel, if you are into Persian rugs, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Also, I have links to the various rug pages. If some of you have asked me about pictures of certain rugs that you see in my videos, those that I feature on my own website at mprugs.com, I'll put the link in the description so you can actually see them. And again, there's also lots of other videos. But so I'm going to do what I do best and get behind the camera. So I'm going to see you from behind the camera here in a second. So here I'm back again from behind the camera for this part of the video, and I'm just going to walk over here and close and slowly zoom in. When we talk about the HERATI design, we're talking, you notice this flowery pattern right here? And this is the very antique Bidjar. Again, I have featured this piece in my own website, and I also made a video of it. I'm going to link it below in the description, just so that you know. The rugs here are a little bit brighter, as you can see here by the antique piece, how it's shining at you, and that has to do with the lighting in the warehouse, and I do apologize for it. But I want you to look at the design, and then this is the old Bidjar. I mean, this is a very old piece, but you notice, look at the design of the old piece, and then look at the design of the new piece, and you can see the relationship between them. This is what is known as the HERATI design. Now, in the Bidjars, you oftentimes have this geometric medallion pattern, but it doesn't matter whether they are with a medallion or whether it's a solid piece, like, for example, in the case of this Tabriz rug. If this was a Bidjar, it would also have the same type of HERATI design. And you can see, I'm just going to zoom in. Take a look at the Bidjar pattern. Take a look at the Tabriz pattern. Do you see how they are so closely related to each other? This is one of the beautiful things, and you'll notice that also amongst the people. One of the beautiful things about the Kurdish people is that they keep their tradition, their cultures. It's like they're almost keeping them alive. Being that, unfortunately, for those of you that have followed the history of the Kurdish people, to me, when I think of the Kurdish people, I also think of almost like the Roma people in Europe. You have folks that have a very strong, very rich culture and tradition and history, but unlike a lot of people, they did not have a place, I guess what you would call their home. They made the world their home. These are what I call the wandering people. And so they have a beautiful tradition, and they keep the tradition alive. They just pass it on from one generation to the next. And I think you can see that here. Again, you have the Bidjar here, and you see how it has been taken into the Moud design. And oftentimes you will see that there is actually, just as the rugs are related to each other, so are the weavers, the families. And so this is why when people talk about Persian rugs, here you have a beautiful example of a rug that it's not just about decoration in your home, but it's literally about preserving culture, history. I'm not a huge fan of, I don't tell people, I said, you know what, you need to go and buy a Persian rug in order to help sustain the history and the culture and everything. But when I do see something like this, like I said, I have several Bidjars in my own home. I love them. To me, they're just extremely, not just durable rugs, but they have the softness. They have, old school. Now, my sister, on the other hand, she will tell you that the Bidjars are not her taste. She wants the more modern design and everything. But I appreciate when I see the Bidjars, when I see the HERATI design, I see a very rich culture. And to me, while I'm looking at a rug, what I'm really looking at is, in the case of the HERATI design, I'm looking at Kurdish culture. And this is why I wanted to show you these pieces. As always, I'm going to now go back and say my final words to you. So But like I said, I just wanted you to be able to see the close-ups of these beautiful rugs. So I hope you liked the presentation of the HERATI design and how it has evolved into the newer rugs that you see. Again, if you like our channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Check out our many other videos that we have about types of Persian rugs, designs. Sometimes we have unique pieces. I know I made a special video of just the antique piece right here. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section. I do my very best to answer any emails and comments that you may have. At least I do my best as our channel keeps growing. And I look forward to coming back to you with many more videos to come. I wish you and your family the very best. Greetings from all of us. Take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.